that you don't need me. You say let's take things slowly. I hope you realize you're playing with fire. I know what heartbreak feels like. I know I've shed some teardrops. I've been here before. You have done it now, left me on the ground. This is it, I won't come back. If we don't stop, if we don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. Sitting by myself, going crazy like all the time. If we don't stop, if I don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. And I hope you realize, playing with the fire. Saying words ain't easy. I know you can't talk to me, but I hope you realize you're playing with fire. You were my one and only until you left me lonely. I guess you stopped to care. You have done it now, left me on the ground. This is it, I won't come back. If we don't stop, if we don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. Sitting by myself, going crazy like all the time. If we don't stop, if I don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. And I hope you realize, playing with the fire. You like a different game, it's like I'm playing and you don't get started.
Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here. I am on the celebrity floor where all the celebrities are going to be here. Welcome and welcome and welcome to Wizard World 2021 in Chicago. We have a lot to cover here and I want to show you guys around. So let's do it. Let's have a good time. This is going to be a wonderful weekend. To let me show you guys what's going on at Wizard World in Chicago 2021. Let's do it.
They brought 3 Lotuses to network, and Terry was one of the 3, but I didn't audition with her at all. I'm mostly auditioning with Paula Marshall, who's a very good actress. And so we came back that Monday, and I was terrified because I was doing the in-network audition 10 times in a row in front of the network, and they kept me in the room. Wow. Like when they were talking afterward, I was doing this, and I was like, it's going to expose me. You know, they're going to fire me after this audition process. I was terrified of that. And the audition was that Lois comes in a little inebriated, smacks a kiss right on Clark's mouth, and then proceeds to try to seduce him. And he, being the moral guy he is, won't do it. But he wants to really badly, right? So that was the audition. So 10 girls in a row had to bust through the door, kiss me on the mouth, and then try to seduce me. Wow! I was like, this is a great job. Hollywood's great. But the last girl to come in was Terry Hatcher, and she was in. They asked, she was the only one. They said, you know, before Terry comes in, she wants to run lines with you. That's cool. I said, yeah, of course. I went in the room. I walked in the room to run lines with her beforehand, and before I even say hi, she just goes, "You don't like me, do you?" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You've never talked to me to anything." I said, "I'm just trying to get a job. What? I didn't know I was supposed to." I don't know. And then that kind of set up the relationship in a weird way, because she always just sort of ran things. Lois ran things, and that's the way that she drove the show. And then we did the audition. She was the best Lois Lane. She might have been the best kisser. And it was great, and we had a chemistry that, you know, you never know if the chemistry's going to exist. You get people who are real life couples, they go on and make a movie, and people are like, oh, there's no chemistry there. That's terrible. But we have wonderful chemistry, and we played off each other very, very well. And I still think she's the greatest Lois Lane of all time. So,
I completely agree. It's funny you mention that because if you go back to the Christopher Reeve Superman, Lois didn't really care that much for Clark. You know, as a person loved Superman, but she was like putting it down.
well, he was kind of a dork. You know, they made him a dork. I understand what they were doing there. So I got to play Clark Kent more like George Reeves, and I liked that. So I sort of stole from George Reeves there, and I stole from Christopher Reeve when it came to playing Superman. So I didn't have a really good thought in my bones.
Let's kind of let's take a look at some of the other people who have donned the cape. You talk about George Reeves, of course, Christopher Reeve, Tom Welling, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill, Channing Tatum.
What?
Everybody knows that reference.
When? What?
Anybody? Lego Batman. Lego Batman.
Oh,
the voice of Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. Oh, he's Superman's Lego Batman. All right, that's fair.
Where do you rank kind of everybody who's donned the cape? What do you think about Henry Cavill?
And Henry's great. I put Christopher Reeve number one. Christopher Reeve is my favorite Superman, and maybe that's a product of me watching him first. He's the first real Superman that I saw on the big screen. I saw George Reeves, and I enjoyed that. But Christopher Reeve, man, that was it for me. He's number one. I'm somewhere below that, and I'm not going to rank everybody else. But I'll tell you, I think everybody does a great job. I mean, they really do. I think the stuff that Henry Cavill's doing in the darker world, I don't love that world for Superman, because I see Superman as more of a character of hope and light and more fun and more of a twinkle in the eye than the brooding, I'm an alien who doesn't belong here kind of. That to me is just a darker. That's Batman's world. Let Batman have it. But Zack Snyder does a great job creating that world. I just don't. It's not my favorite world for Superman. I took my son to Superman, Batman versus Superman, and at the end, Superman. This is a spoiler.
It's been a while.
Okay, yeah. Superman dies in the thing. And the movie ends. And my son goes, I go, so what'd you think? And he's like, I hate it. And I was like, why? He goes, Superman dies. Superman doesn't die yet. I was like, okay, that's my man.
Yeah. So his first Superman movie?
That was his first Superman.
You take him to the one that Superman dies.
He doesn't even watch my show. He's 21 now, and he watched it a couple episodes. I don't know, 5 years back. And he's like, hey, it's pretty good. Dad, it's actually pretty good. I was like, well, thank you. And he goes, you look different. I said, get out of here. Go to your room. I hear that from you, kid. That's the kids. They will.
Yeah. You think it's too late? Do you think the folks over at the DCEU and Warner Brothers will ever kind of turn it around? Because when are we going to get another standalone Superman movie? I mean, what's going on there?
I hope there is, but what they've done now, they've created this dark universe for him. So maybe it'll be a new Superman. I hope that happens. I would love to see where Lois and Clark are, our characters, 30 years later or whatever, 8 years later. All right, a little longer. But I'd love to see where they are, and who knows what's going to happen. There's always a shot for everything, and who knows. But I love the character, love being associated with the character. I mean, it does stick with you.
Yeah.
It is a name that you get very often. And if you're going to get called anything, Superman's pretty good.
Really, I mean, it's the upper echelon of actors, and an amazing character. We are going to go ahead and open it up to the audience Q&A, everybody. We do have a microphone right over on the side. You can start lining up. Before we get to that, so let's just kind of start lining up real quick, and we'll do some Q&A. Before we do that, I want to talk about just a couple things non-Superman related that you're doing. One of the movies that I really liked in 2019, we were lucky enough to be one of the cities that screened the movie Madness in the Method. We got to see it in the theaters, the directorial debut of Mr. Jason Mewes. Has anybody seen Madness in the Method? Great. Jay from Jay and Silent Bob directed that film. Tell us a little bit about what was it like working with Jason as a director? You obviously have a long relationship with the View Askew people.
Yes, well, first of all, Jason Mewes drinks like a quadruple cappuccino like every hour and a half, and I don't know how his heart doesn't explode, because mine would. And he is Jay, man. He goes. He's a bundle of energy. He's hysterically funny, and he did a great job on the film. And in the film, it's funny because here we are at a con. And part of the thing is my character that I played is always hiding from his face, like, shh, don't say anything. They're going to see me. He's like, dude, you're fine. No one's going to see you. My whole character was, my guy was, thought that fans were stalking him everywhere. People think I'm going to fly. And it was just great fun. And it's fun. Listen, it's fun to make fun of yourself. And I think that people who don't take this whole world a little too seriously, and it's too bad. So I have a good time making fun of myself and enjoyed that in Madness in the Method.
Great, yeah. Well, check it out, guys. I know you can stream it. It's available for. It's just so funny because you play yourself, but it's not really yourself. It's totally different, like parody of yourself.
It's exactly, which is great fun to do.
So we're going to do an audience Q&A, but real quick, your new project, Not For Sale. Anybody like to talk about that?
Sure. Well, if people don't know, I'm actually a reserve police officer in Pocatello, Idaho, and a sheriff's deputy in Frederick County, Virginia. so I do that for real. And I do it to honor our men and women in blue and the work that they do. I think our law enforcement and first responders are amazing people. I often say, God bless. Military, these are unbelievable people who put their lives on the line every day. I work with a foundation called Crimes Against Children Foundation, and what we do is we try and stop internet predators and things from getting to your children, and then we take down some people who do these things and try to stop human trafficking and a lot of these things that go on. Not for Sale is a film which deals with that subject. It's a smaller film. It's a little tiny film, but I did it for nothing because I'm there trying to make an impact and try to open some people's eyes to what's going on here. It's shocking how much of this stuff exists right here in Chicago. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's all over the United States and everywhere. It's just, it blows you away with what's going on. So I do that to try to bring awareness to that.
That's great. Did I tell you this guy was a nice guy?
It's true.
So everybody over the Q&A, we're going to go ahead and start doing that. I ask that you do keep your mask on just because everybody's using the same microphone. So.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. I'm from Arkansas.
It sounds like it, Charlotte. I'm just going to say it. Throw it out there.
And like you, I grew up watching Christopher Reeve as Superman and him, and then Henry Cavill, is that what you said? And I love those movies, but I had never watched your series until recently when we got HBO Max, and I was able to watch it. And back when in the 90s when it was made, my daughter was born, and all we watched was Barney and Blue's Clues and stuff because I was working full time and I didn't watch anything. So I'm really glad that I got to watch it because I absolutely love it. I feel like I learned who Clark Kent really was.
There we go.
And Lois. But I had a couple of questions that came about because, like I said, just been watching it recently, and I noticed how many iconic guest stars were on. I mean, my word, I was like, oh my.
That's what I said every time they showed up on set. I'm like, really?
One question I have for you is, who was your favorite guest star? And wonder about that.
It's hard to say favorite because I really enjoyed so many different people there. They were just great. But I mean, when you get a Tony Curtis coming on, I was like, wow. I called my dad one day and I was like, hey Dad, guess what I got to do today? He's like, I don't know, fly, whatever. I go, no, I just kissed Raquel Welch. He was like, are you kidding me? So, I mean, that kind of stuff is just amazing. So, and I would shut my mouth and listen to the stories they would tell and just sort of revel in the coolness of being on screen with these legends. So I really enjoyed that. We had some great people. Lane Davies was so good as Tempest. He was funny. We had the H.G. Wells, I forgot the actor's name, retarded. He was fantastic. It was just great. I have no favorite. Maybe I'll say my mom because she was in a couple episodes and she would get me if I didn't say that. She was in a couple of them. But yeah, there were some legends.
And then I noticed when I was watching credits that you had a couple of that you actually wrote.
Yes.
And I thought that was so cool, especially I loved the Atomic Space Rats. And yes. Sherman Hemsley was on the Jefferson couple.
Amazing.
It was awesome. But
that was great.
How was it acting in something that you wrote?
It's actually really, it was very comfortable for me. I started as a writer. I was a writer before I was an actor.
Oh, cool.
So I've been writing forever. I just wrote this and directed this movie, Little Angels, that's going to come out in 2022, which is really exciting and fun. So I wrote it, produced it, directed it, started it and everything. So that's great fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. But it was fun. It was simple. I'd been writing for my dad for years, so I'd seen my words and the things that I did up on screen plenty. And when you're sitting on set all day, every day, and you have time between, I was like, I want to do more. So I started writing episodes, and I would submit ideas to them, and they would reject them or whatever it was. And it was great fun for me, a great learning experience, and it was just wonderful to get. So I ended up writing 2 of the episodes there.
Well, they were so good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlotte.
Hello, Dan.
Hello.
My name is Sarah from Indiana, and I was 3 or 4 years old when I saw Lois and Clark, and it's still one of my favorite Superman shows of all time. So thank you for making my childhood amazing.
Thank you, Sarah, for saying that and making me feel very old because you were 3 or 4. Thank you.
My question was about Smallville because Dr. Curtis Knox was, in some ways, a character from the DC world, the Immortal Man, aka CK. So I was curious to know, what was your time working on Smallville opposite of Tom Welling? Because that episode of Cure was probably my favorite episode because you were in it.
I love your style.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. I think I was year 7 when they were shooting that. So those guys had it down to a science. They were just ripping through. Michael Rosenbaum is crazy and hysterical and a lot of fun. Tom's a big old boy. Tom Welling's a big country boy, man. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Great fun, and they were just kind of cranking through it. A lot of fun to be up there on that set and watching how well they had things dialed in.
Yeah.
But it was just odd being not being the super dude. Like when things that happen, it's like other characters have to move slow and he runs through the thing. And so we were rehearsing one thing with Tom, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because I think it's so funny. We're going through, we're all kind of moving slowly. He's running through, he's going like, whoosh, whoosh. I was like, dude, we don't make sound effects. Come on, man.
That's a union job. Somebody else does that.
But it was just a lot of fun. But it was interesting to see it, to have passed the mantle, so to speak. Go, okay, you're not the super guy anymore.
Absolutely.
You're this guy. And it's
Do you think your time on Smallville helped you prepare for the role of Jeremiah Danvers for Supergirl? Because when I found out you and Helen Slater were going to be on it, I was like, oh, that's amazing. Pass the torch to those guys too. So.
Yeah, it was great, and I was glad that we did that. I'm glad Greg Berlanti and those guys decided to give us those roles because I thought that was a good nod to the character and our past. And I think that's a sort of an Easter egg for everybody, and I enjoyed it. It was great. I remember talking to Melissa early on and going, listen, congratulations, but this is a marathon.
Yeah.
She's still running that marathon now. They're still shooting, right? They're not done yet, or they're
The final season.
Yeah, well, they're finishing. It's a marathon, and
Yeah,
I'm sure it took a toll. I'd like to have a conversation with her now in 3 years after it's over, because she'll be exhausted for the next 3 years. It's just a real grind.
Absolutely, and I'm waiting for that Lois and Clark reunion show because I think everybody, including the old school kids, are like, what the heck is DC doing? I'm like, we want the classics like your guys.
I hope so. Tell them that.
Absolutely,
Thank you, Sarah. That's quite an outfit. Well done.
Thank you. My name is Matt.
Hello, Max.
Matt.
Hello, Matt. I couldn't tell because there was a thing.
Yes. So, back to what the previous person said, how you got the privilege to be involved with Smallville and Supergirl. You actually not only did you pass the torch, but did you feel like you were kind of like returned to your role in Superman even though you weren't Superman?
I'm just happy to be part of the whole world. To be part of that whole thing, I thought it was great fun. It was wonderful. I mean, I ended up having a cyborg arm anyway, so I got to just have some superpowers, so to speak. But I think everybody had superpowers on that show.
Or cyborg arms, yeah.
Yeah, cyborg arm, something going on. But I think it was fun going even from Smallville into Supergirl and being a part of that world. I just embraced it and was happy, and I just think it's one of those things that it just goes on forever. And so to be part of it was an honor for me, and I think they've done a real good job. And I think she's a wonderful Supergirl, and I just was, like I said, just honored to be part of it.
And also, if you could keep one superpower from Superman, which one would you want to keep for yourself?
Man, I've thought about this a long time, lots of different times, and I would say fly. I just literally flew in from Europe, so that would have been nice to be able to just go. But you imagine the things must hit you in the face. I don't know what happened. So I always say flying, but now that I'm starting to get up there, maybe invulnerability would be a good thing to have. I don't know. There's times I wish I had that supervision too. They're all good powers, but maybe I'd switch it from flying to invulnerability. That'd be pretty nice.
I personally would take heat vision.
Yeah, you take heat vision. I understand that.
It goes hand in hand with the bugs hitting you in the eyes as you're flying across the Atlantic. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Matt. Cheers.
Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Really? Mike from Chicago.
Hello, Mike from Chicago.
Yes. I hope you don't get shot this weekend.
That's unfortunately, there are a lot of shootings in Chicago.
When the series ended, did you keep a Superman suit for yourself at all? Or?
Great question. Answer is no, I didn't, because we finished season 4, and before we finished season 4, Tony Jonas, who was then the head of Warner Brothers, brought us into his office, Terry and I, and said, "Congratulations, you got season 5." And so we're going to get ready for season 5, and we'll see you back here in regular school time, regular school hours next year. And while we were on hiatus, I was in Toronto shooting a movie called Dog Boys, or I think Tracked, they ended up calling that thing. And I got the phone call that Terry was pregnant, and it was a difficult pregnancy, and so we weren't going to be able to shoot because she would have been bedridden. And I thought, maybe we just do a storyline where she's down or whatever, and then we could bring in a kid. I just thought maybe there's other things to do. And he's like, "No, we're gonna go ahead and pull the plug." And I said, "Wow, that's it." So I didn't steal a suit. If I'd have known we were done, I would have stolen everything. I would have taken Clark Kent thing. I was like, everything would have been gone. But I didn't. And then I just now, like I said, I came back from Europe last night. So I arrived here actually almost this morning. And but I was in Switzerland. I went to a con in Switzerland, and a family surprised me with my season 4 Lois and Clark suit. What? Literally the entire suit. Boots, underwear, the cape, you name it. And it's all, I mean, it's written inside. Well, I mean, I remember it. The second I opened this package up, I could smell the wool of the cape. I'm like, oh my God, I'm right back there.
You can smell the essence of Kane still on it.
Essence of Kane. And I was just amazing. And I actually have it here. Actually. So I do have it here. It was amazing though. I mean, even then I was like, oh my God. And so they're like, put on the cape. So I put on the cape and I was like, ooh, it fits good. Oh, it still fits? It feels right.
Well, the cape.
Yeah, of course. The whole thing fits. But it was amazing. So I have a suit finally, which is pretty incredible that they went and did that. So I never took a suit, but now I have one thanks to the absolute just generosity of a wonderful family and big fans of Lois and Clark. So I was stunned.
What a timely audience Q&A question.
I tell you, well done.
My God, how'd you do that? Are you envious of the new Supermen who don't have to wear the red underwear?
Not only that, they also have everything built into the suit. I mean, they have everything. Am I envious? Nah. It's their time to do their thing, and good for them. Yes, sir.
Hey, Dean. My name is Chris from Seattle.
Hello, Chris from Seattle. A long way from home.
I know.
Bless you.
I know. Thank you. God bless you, too, for flying all the way back here.
Happy to be here.
Now,
almost the same distance you and I came.
Right. Now, I got two questions into one.
Okay.
Question one is, did they ever call you for the crossover and stuff? And would you, if they called you for the Flash, or if they ever did another crossover, would you be willing to do it?
Okay, so they had called me a couple times to come back to Supergirl, and we couldn't work out the schedule. So I just couldn't work it out. I was doing something else, and they had their schedules pretty fixed. So there's a couple times we tried to do that, didn't work, and it got maybe 2 or 3 times in a row. And so by the crossover time, they did not, that I'm aware of, call me. So maybe it was because I wasn't available the last 2 or 3 times, or maybe they didn't want me in it. I honestly don't know. My son's a big fan of the Flash and Green Arrow and these things too. So if I told him I got an offer to go in there and do it, he'd be like, "Dad, you have to go." I'd be like, "Shut up, go to your room again." Of course, he's 21 now. He'd be like, "You go to your room." And he's a jiu-jitsu fighter, so I'd be like, "All right, I'll go to my room."
I'm going.
And my next question is, what would you say to inspiring actors or upcoming actors that are trying to get out there and be in movies and roles and stuff like as yourself has been successful with?
Well, the piece of advice my dad gave me when I was going to be an actor, I said, "Who's going to do it?" He said, "Don't do it." And that makes great sense, because if you could do anything else, go ahead and do it. It's a tough business to be in. But if you feel drawn to it, and that's the thing you really want to do, and you're going to take your time and take your lumps, go for it. Do it. But it's a weird thing as an actor. You can be Meryl Streep and win an Academy Award, and then somebody's going to be like, "Shh, I thought she was terrible. She was just awful. I didn't believe a thing she said." And you go, "Wow, okay." It's completely subjective. So whether someone believes your performance or not, it's a tough thing. But with the way technology is today, instead of having to wait to get on movies and do things, take your camera. Your camera's a video camera, which is that's ancient for what the kids do now. They take this iPhone thing here.
Yeah, iPhones all over.
There are these things, or you can make movies on these things. And I would say, get creative. Go do those things when you're young, especially. And you can cut together on iMovie. You can do little movies, and if people see that, you pop it on YouTube, and it's good, you're going to get some traction. That might be a great way to go. And then, as far as acting, just try to have fun with it and enjoy it. Because if you don't, it's a tough road.
Thank you, Dean.
Yes, sir. Pleasure, Chris.
We got time for a few more.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Vicky from Jamestown, which is near Buffalo, New York.
Hello, Vicky.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. How many football teams play in the state of New York? Anybody?
3.
One.
Oh, just the Bills.
That's right. The other guys play in New
Just the
Jersey.
Bills.
They play in Jersey. I saw the 3, which I would have said too. But
Away from
I learned.
Away from Superman, one of my favorite other characters was on Las Vegas.
Oh, that was great fun.
Casey Manning. Who was your favorite actor or actress to play with?
Oh my gosh. Well, I loved sitting there with James Caan, because he's James
Yes.
Caan. And he would just tell football stories in between. So we would just talk football. I loved that. And then he'd start telling, we were on the set of The Godfather. I'm like, just keep talking. It was amazing. So I loved working with him. Josh Duhamel and James Leisure. I played basketball with those guys all the time. They were great friends and great buddies. Actually, when I was shooting Las Vegas, I played a game against Josh that weekend beforehand. Josh has sharp elbows, so he came down and he elbowed me right in the eye.
What's your Superman?
Yeah, well, I bled like a stuck pony. But we patched it back up and got in the game. But I showed up to work with a black eye and a cut. I was like, it's Josh's fault. Josh hit me with a sharp elbow. And those guys were great. The women were wonderful. Vanessa Marcel was great. They were just a great bunch of people. It was a lovely cast.
I
lovely
loved
crew.
that show, and I was so sad when it was canceled.
I left the show and went and did a
Right.
pilot with the show's creator Gary Scott Thompson, a police officer show, and otherwise I would have stayed on as Casey. But to take a new show was a lot of fun, and it was an ensemble cast with great actors. And I took a shot at it, and it didn't work. And then one more year.
You did good.
Thank you.
Loved you on that.
It was great fun. Thank you.
Well, Dean, how great is it to be back in Chicago? I mean, back at Wizard World, back at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center.
It's good.
It's like you're home away from home.
He doesn't have listen to his voice, isn't it right? Like I'm talking. Hello, we're back in Chicago. It's good. I guess that's why you're. Yeah, okay. It's great to be here. It's lovely. I mean, I'm happy to be back in the States. First of all, I love America, and I'm happy to be here. I've had a home in Spain for 20 years, so I'm over there quite a bit. That's where my son's mother was born and raised. So I've been going over to Europe and all over the world, traveling everywhere, but I'm always super happy when I get back in the States. I'm very happy to be here in Chicago. I wish I could go see a football game before it gets too cold. And they're going to do all right. Don't worry about it.
You're not missing much.
They're going to be all right. I'm telling you, it's going to click. It's going to click, and Justin Fields will start taking them up a couple notches. That's just my personal opinion. That's why I took him in my fantasy league, okay? I believe. What's that? I hope so.
It's total sports talk with Dean Cain.
Well, I'm a sports guy. I love sports, and I'm watching them all. How about them Dodgers? See if anybody's watching any baseball. Dodgers, they clinched it last night. It's true.
Did they? What did they clinch? They clinched.
They
What are you
clinched
talking
the
about?
National League.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna play for the NLCS. Whatever. It's exciting.
I'm sure
For
that's a
me.
thing.
I'm just glad. It's a Los Angeles team, but I'm just I love sports. So anything sports related, I pay attention to. Mostly football, though.
Well, Dean, thanks so much for taking your time. I got to tell you guys again, head on over to the table. This is the nicest guy on the planet. He's the nicest guy in the con. Head on over, get an autograph, hang out, hear some more interesting stories. Dean, thanks for taking the time. Welcome back to Chicago. Welcome back to Wizard World.
Happy to be here.
All right, guys, we're going to be back with more podcasts. All kinds of fun stuff. We got Lou Ferrigno up here at 7 o'clock and rounding out the day is the Chump
Lou
Gang.
is in my movie Little Angels, by the way.
Is he?
He is. He does a great job. He's hysterically funny in it. I won't give anything away more than that, but he's really good.
Awesome. Well, we'll ask him about it here. Right here on the stage at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey everyone, Chris here. Welcome back. And I just wanted to say this has been day one of Wizard World in Chicago. And not only that, there's more to come from me to you. Not only that, great news. You can go on over to the next video by clicking on one of these, and it will take you over to day two. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the other side.